Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about homeschooling in the state of Maryland. And we're going to start at HSLDA's website, which you can go there and you can join, and they will help you with legal problems, which I could never help you with because I'm not an attorney. But you can go there and you can join. And I think it's only like $12 a month. And it states that Maryland's statutory law refers to homeschooling as regular, thorough instruction during the school year and the studies usually taught in the public schools to children of the same age. Maryland regulations also refer to homeschooling as a home instruction program. To operate a home instruction program in Maryland, follow the steps listed below, and there are 4 options. Option 1 is under the portfolio option. You have to file a notice of consent form with your superintendent, and they have a form available to HSLDA members. A Maryland Home Instruction Regulation says that parents shall submit the notice of consent to the superintendent 15 days before starting a home instruction program. We believe this obstruction of a parent's right to homeschool a child is unenforceable. We believe it is sufficient for a parent to file the notice on the day the student is withdrawn from public school. I wouldn't know about that. You'd have to ask them. You have to teach the required subjects, which are math, English, social studies, science, art, music, health, and PE. You have to provide the required instruction, regular, thorough instruction in the required subjects. This instruction must be of sufficient duration, and it doesn't explain what that means. You must maintain a portfolio. So this should include instruction materials and reading materials, as well as examples of your child's writing, worksheets, workbooks, creative materials, and tests. So you might need a box as well as a portfolio from what they're saying. Because if they're wanting workbooks and creative materials and tests, I don't know. Respond to your superintendent's request to review your portfolio. The local superintendent can review your portfolio at a mutual agreeable time and place. He or she can do this only 3 times a year. It says it usually happens twice a year. HSLDA strongly recommends that you not bring any of your children to the portfolio review. Some school staff may believe they have the right to see your child, but any such right was abolished. If you do not feel comfortable during your portfolio review, for subsequent reviews, consider dropping off your materials and using a phone call to discuss them rather than doing it in person. This can be a bit awkward, but some portfolio reviewers treat parents quite badly, and it can be worth it to avoid a face-to-face meeting. If the superintendent reviews your portfolio and determines that your child is not being educated in accordance with the regulations, he or she must notify you of these deficiencies in your program. You'll have 30 days to provide evidence that you have corrected these deficiencies. Otherwise, the superintendent may tell you to stop homeschooling. You can appeal a decision of the superintendent to the school board within 30 days. You can then, if necessary, appeal the school board's decision to the state board of education within 30 days. Notify your superintendent of any change to your homeschool status. And then it talks about that. Be aware that school cannot impose additional requirements. And then it talks about using an umbrella church option. So you can join a church as an umbrella, and you can read more on that on this website. I don't want to read the whole website to you because I have too much to cover, but I will scroll down so you can pause and read it if you like. Okay, and then they have the third church exempt school umbrella option, and you can read that as well. And then they have the state approved school umbrella option, and you can read that one as well. And then there's peopleslaw.org, You can go to that page and see that about homeschooling. The People's Law Library of Maryland, and it talks about homeschooling. It says every child who is 5 years and older and under 18 must attend public school unless the child is otherwise receiving regular thorough instruction during the school year, and this study is usually taught by the public schools to children of the same age or has completed a home instruction program that has been verified by the local school system or supervising entity. So you can read more about that on their website. Says it is the parents' guardian's responsibility to select curriculum and instructional materials. And it talks about supervision, participation with local public schools. And then you have marylandpublicschools.org, which is the Department of Education, and what they talk about homeschooling that you can go see. And they have a home instruction fact sheet. They have fact sheet regarding church exempt schools and things like that. So you could go on there and you can see what kind of resources and information that they have to offer. It says what is included in a portfolio, and it says we recommend the portfolio include a lesson plan or schedule, relevant materials such as instructional materials, reading materials, and examples of child's writing, worksheets, workbooks, creative materials, and text, adequate work samples for each subject throughout the period of instruction. And I have emailed the Board of Education, 2 different people that work, and I have not gotten anything back on what adequate work samples mean. So no one has messaged me back. So samples of tests or assessments work should be dated and graded. Optional photographs, certificates, awards, students' journals, and programs may be used to document work. Organizing the portfolio. It says you should use a tab notebook or pocket portfolio. Use 1 notebook for each student. Arrange work chronologically by subject area. Use a composition or spiral notebook for each subject. Work samples should coincide with lesson plan or schedule. See, I don't like notebooks. I like loose notebook paper. The review session is face-to-face to review. Do not mail portfolios or attempt to deliver them to the office. So, it says you get all the material back. And then there's more about it, whether they consider it acceptable or needs more evidence, or unacceptable. And then it talks about the curriculum and the different subjects it needs to include. So, and this is a website that I thought would help people if they're new to homeschooling, and it's from Alaska, but you can see the headings: books, literature, social studies, online, subscription-based programs. And when you're brainstorming and you're trying to organize what books you think you're going to use that are your favorite, or your favorite curriculum-based places, or field trips or things like that, you can put that on a paper to put in your binder or portfolio of your favorites that you're brainstorming, and when you're not sure what you're going to use. And then you can do another one of the ones that you've decided you're actually going to use, so you have them both in your binder or portfolio, and that way you can look back next year and say, oh, these were my favorites, maybe I'm going to do these this year instead and go on these field trips, or use this other favorites. That way you have 2 different pages and they're in your portfolio. And I might actually take pictures of some of the pages and email them to myself in case something happens to my binder and my portfolio. I know if I email them to myself, they're on the internet. Even if my computer crashes, they're there. This right here, you can see the address of this document in the upper left-hand corner. It's from North Carolina. And they made this for people. It's a homeschool attendance record. So you can mark off the days of schooling and you can print it out. It's so easy. I mean, you don't have to use this right here. You can black it out or whatever, but I just think that is so great that they created an attendance record and you can print it out and throw it in your binder. That's really great. And I would do 2 of them because one of them is the days that you plan on having schooling and one for the days that you actually have schooling and you can put FT for field trips and X for school days and H for holidays and there's calendars you can get for free online with boxes that you could use as well. But even if you go to public school, they might have snow days or something might come up and they might have planned days, but then they might have days that actually have school. So you might want to have 2 of them. So, and this is IXL and it's not free, but it's got complete curriculum and you can go on there and you can see it and you can easily print this out so that you have the curriculum that you're using if you're using something like this, and you can see it goes from pre-K on the left hand side all the way up to calculus. So you can print this out and it shows the activities they're going to be doing in each subject, and then you can check them off or put a date next to them as you do them. But it has a lot, and that way it shows your curriculum and you can put that in your binder. And if you're keeping a daily log, which I might suggest, that's what I think you should do. I think even if you do it in WordPad, I would do it like on notebook paper in my portfolio or binder, or in a Word document, or both, and then write day 1, August 5th. 8 o'clock, math, and you can put IXL.com, even or odd. Day 2, August 6th, math, IXL, even or odd arithmetic rules. And then that way you put the activity as well. And then you do, every time that they start a new subject, you put the subject, and then you put whether the name of the book or the name of the website, and then you put the activity that they're doing. And I might have a workbook with complete curriculum as well as a website, and then go on the website and do for 3 hours a day, and then use the workbook for an hour a day. That way I can take sheets of pages out of the workbook later on and put them in the binder, and then leave some of the other ones in the workbook to show the pages. KhanAcademy.org. And that's just suggestions. KhanAcademy.org. It's free for everyone, everywhere. And they have online curriculum that is free as well. And easy peasy, all-in-one. It's allinonehomeschool.com, and it's free right now. And it does take you to a place where they try to get you to donate, and then you can click cancel, and you don't have to donate, and you can use it for free. And I know that this one does have writing things that you do. It also has Bible, but you don't have to do the Bible. The Bible is separate, or it used to be, than the daily activities. I think art works that way as well. And they have things that you do as writing. And they have computer and a variety of subjects. And it uses different websites so that you'll go to one website for a reading, and you just click like the highlighted area, and it takes you to another website for reading or math or things like that, so it makes it more fun. Schoolhouse Rock, I don't know, you may have heard about it, but it's not a complete curriculum, it just adds to it, and it's fun. Grammar, science, economics, history, mathematics, and civics. So if you need a break, or you want your child to learn in fun ways during the day here and there, and they need a break from writing in a workbook or doing their online activities, this is something that is fun, and here's one of the subjects, and it teaches them the multiplication tables. And kids love this. And then here's Grammar Rock, and it teaches them nouns and verbs and subject and predicate. American Rock, which teaches electoral college, voting for the president. American Revolutionary War. Science Rock, and that teaches a variety. You can see the subject here: gravity, electricity, weather. They have Money Rock that teaches them about personal budget and the deficit and stock exchange. Then there's Earth Rock, which teaches them about recycling and rainforests and oceans and things like that. So it's a great addition, I think. Project Gutenberg, if you're looking for books and you don't want to leave to go to the library and you're looking for ways to read at home, and you can just click on the name of the book. Then you click you want to read the book, how you want to read it, and then you go to the book, and there's the book right there. So, and you can zoom in or out if you need to make it bigger, but there's a great place for books. This one is the International Children's Digital Library. I think they have 4,000 or 5,000 books. You just click on the name of the book, click that you want to read the book. You can click on the page, and you can turn the page to the right or the left in the upper right hand corner. And so they have a lot of books, and if the books came out different times with different editions, then they will probably have those as well. That's why you'll see the books listed more than once sometimes, because they have different editions. Another website that is an excellent website for homeschoolers is this one. And you can see in the upper left-hand corner, you can see the website address if you want to type it in, or you can just Google it. Anyway, this is 54 spelling word list worksheets and lessons. So you can go, if you want a spelling word list, and you can click on it, and then you'll come up with spelling lists. So if you want spelling lists for your students. So there's another website for you. Medium.com, she goes to different states, lists different states, and if they have funding or not. Which Alaska, if you live in Alaska, I think they have between $500 and $4,000 per student. And some of those schools will, it's for money for buying materials under umbrella schools for your students, and some of them will let you keep the materials that you purchase. Let's scroll down to Maryland, and you can see some of the schools don't, some of the states don't have anything. But Maryland says that homeschoolers at high school level qualify for dual enrollment at community colleges. It's not free, but it's like half the participating, it's like half off, so that's not a bad deal. Extramath.org, if you're like on all-in-one homeschool, this is one of the websites they used to use, and I think they still do. It's not free, but it's very inexpensive. It says it's $2 per student, and it has a lot of great activities to help them hone their school skills if you want to use that. So you don't have to be using all-in-one homeschool to use that. PBS is gbp.pbslearningmedia.org. This one has a lot of great things. So if you're trying to teach different subjects, this is another website that is great to help homeschoolers. And you can browse by the subject. And another thing, if you're homeschooling, that you will probably need is homeschool support groups, because some of them are free to join and some cost money, and I'm not recommending the co-ops, but they are there. But if you join a homeschool support group, you can ask them knowledge, because they may have been homeschooling for years. They may have a lot of knowledge. They may have a lot of resources that they might be willing to share with you. If you have books that you use for homeschooling and you want to swap them around or donate them to another family that might need them, this would be the place to donate them. And you might find other people that are donating books out, so that you might be able to get books that you need. And you might have high schoolers that you want to go to college and things like that, and you can ask them questions like this. And I just want to mention, if you're creating a portfolio, that I have a list of things that I would probably put in there, because at the beginning of the year, another thing you can find on the internet is free assessment tests, and you could take a free assessment test to help you create a goal of what you're going to teach your children for the year. And then when you take those free assessment tests, and you can download them, you can Google search for them, and you can have your students take them and put those in your binder. Your state homeschool laws, you can print those out and put a date on them. Copies of any forms that if you had to file any with the state, you're going to want to put those in there. A couple of calendars, so that one of them shows the days that you had school. Brainstorming your favorite resources, an actual list of the resources you're going to use, any online curriculum that you're using that you print out, or contents from a workbook that shows the curriculum you're using. Field trips, if you're going on field trips, you're going to want to get flyers or take a photo of your student on the field trip, have them write up a paper about what they learned on the field trip, and you can put that in your binder, or even just a favorite thing that they did that they enjoyed the most on the field trip. You can put that on there with a date. You can print out the contents from websites like iExcel, the workbooks, sample student work. Now, they didn't say how much, so I would probably think 2 pages a week, maybe, of each subject, but I'm not sure. I would keep their workbooks as well. And you have to choose if you want to have a portfolio or binder that showcases their best work or shows progressive work. And things like that would be if you're having them do multiplication tables and you're timing them, and then later on you're having them do multiplication tables and you're timing them and they're faster, that shows progression. A variety of skills, you could show a variety of skills, like they're adding in single digits, then they're adding in double digits, or they're doing addition and subtraction on another page, multiplication on another page, division on another page, and that shows a variety of skills. And if you're doing one for the student and having the student do a portfolio just for themselves, you might want to put in there their best work to showcase their best work. But if you're doing it for someone else that's looking at it, you might want a variety of skills or progressive work. And you can do 3 in 1. You can put all 3 in 1 under different tabs. That's up to you. Proof of field trips, taking a weekly schedule. You're going to want to have a weekly schedule probably in your binder. And you might have where you're planning a weekly schedule and deciding, and then you might have the actual weekly schedule. And you might have Wednesdays afternoon, you're doing some kind of electives like cooking for Wednesday afternoons for 1 month, making candles for 4 Wednesday afternoons for another month, jewelry making for another one, checking the oil and stuff, library skills, different things. And you might want to create certificates of achievement as they do those things and put them in there. If they're doing volunteer work, you could have somebody else where you're doing the volunteer work fill out your certificate that you created of achievement for them and put it in there and put notes for them. Proof of field trips taken, you're going to want to put that in there. Weekly schedule, daily log of activities, any assessments, tests, or self-evaluation, you might want to put that in there. Contacts with email addresses for school and support groups. If they do career study field trips, you might want to have them create a list of questions to ask them about maintaining schedules, meeting deadlines, the type of education they needed, problem-solving skills, planning and organizing skills, and then you can have them sign off that they did that career study field trip and see if they can create audio or video of the career study field trips. And that will help them with their communication skills. It helps them if they're going to interview to go to a job or a university later and things like that. So you can have that in their portfolio or a binder as well. And they can go to factories or different places for field trips. So some people choose to do like swimming lessons and things like that as part of their education as well for PE or yoga. And that's just some ideas of things that you might want to put in their portfolio or their binder. And like I said, you might want to keep a box in the state of Maryland of other pages of work that you don't have in the portfolio or binder that you can put in folders or things like that, separated by subject with the dates on them and I guess graded. So, and I think you could grade it however you like to. So anyway, I thank you for tuning into my channel. I hope this helps someone out there who is considering homeschooling, and you have a great day. Bye-bye.